Good afternoon, y'all. Glad to be back. Welcome. If this is your first time, my name is Cynthia Knox. I live in Mesa, Arizona, Zone 9B. I am a gardener. I raise chickens. I do all kinds of things. I talk about the Word of God. Today, I wanted to make an episode about my onions and my garlic. Well, mainly my onions. I have tried to grow onions before in the past and I've been unsuccessful. And this year I was successful and I was able to grow the onions in the weirdest way. Well, let me show you kind of like a little background of what happened. So I actually grew my onions in rows on the ground right here where this thing is. There were 3 rows of onions. I think I had about like 50 onions, or no, I did not. I had probably like 30 onions. And the frost came and it took almost half of my onions. I was not careful. I didn't cover them. Okay, so the surviving onions, I kept taking care of them. They kept growing, and then plans changed, and then we are going to attach this portion right here to that portion to make the duck run a lot longer. So we needed this space, and my husband says, I need you to get your onions out of the ground because we need to, put this thing there. So in an emergency kind of situation, I took the onions out and I put them in flower pots, containers that I had laying around the yard, and I said, these onions are not going to make it because of the transplant, and I did it as gentle as possible, but the onions made it. They made it. So here we have the containers I had laying around, and they are ready. I think they're ready for harvest. Now I will tell you, I did not take care to fertilize all of my onions, such as these, which I'm okay with because I wanted them small to put them in the grill. Okay, they're delicious grilled. And check these out, these pretty big onions. And I'm going to harvest them today because I think that they are ready. I have more right here. And like I said, these are flower pots I just found like in my yard. Like I collect these pots, And here's another pretty decent size. This one turned out to be like a double onion. And they say these right here need to be like dying a lot more than what they are right now. But honestly, I think they're ready. They're like drying off, from the leaves that are next to the bulb. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I harvested one already over there, so 11. And I guess if you want to count 2, it's 12 onions. And this is the first time that I've actually been successful. And I'm going to tell you what I used to make these onions grow successfully. But first, let's take them out and we'll set them out to cure. Wow. Yellow onion. Probably not, based on how hard they are to take out. Maybe they're not ready. I don't know. Okay. Oh my goodness. Look. Oh gosh. Look at that. Yeah. Oh wow. Oh man. It smells so good. didn't grow that many onions, but like for them to last me like the whole year or anything. But if I wanted to choose a crop to grow extensively, enough of it to last me the whole year, I would choose one crop and grow a ton of it. But I need to know if I'm going to be successful at it. And being the fact that I was not successful last year, I didn't plant that many this year. But now that I know what I'm doing, now I can plant some more. Okay, so what I need to do now is I need to set these in a shaded place that has lots of ventilation so they can cure. Onions need to cure in order for them to be able to be stored for a long time. And so we need to cure them for about 6 weeks in a place where they can dry outside, out of the sun. So we put them in a shady place where there's wind, and so they can dry out and cure for 6 weeks before we can store them inside. Okay, so a place that I know for sure is going to get shade 24/7, maybe dappled sun, is going to be like this structure right here where I have my strawberries. And all it is, it's a little makeshift emergency duck thing where we kept our first pair of ducks, that it was raining, and so they need to be out of the elements. The ducks used to be in this area, so they would go in there. And now I store my canopies and my shade cloths and tarps in there, but all of this is going to be removed here soon. But I'm going to put the onions there because it always gets shade because it's right underneath this mesquite tree, and the neighbors like oleanders are there, so it's always shaded there, and super good air circulation, so we're going to put them there. And usually the birds don't mess with onions and garlic because they don't like the taste of it, so they leave those alone, so I'm not concerned about that. I'm just going to leave them spaced out so that there's air. I'm not concerned about all the dirt and, you know, the debris from the tree falling being here, because we're going to clean them up when they're done curing. We're going to trim this and just clean them out pretty good. Now, if you wanted to, you could eat them right now. Like, you don't have to cure them if you're going to eat them right now. You go in the kitchen, like I could go and put this in the grill and eat it, or use it in a salsa or whatever. They don't have to cure for you to eat them. They have to cure for you to be able to store them indoors. Okay, so now that I put the onions to cure, let me show you the products that I use to grow these onions and the care that I put to them. I'll share that with you so that you can have this information. Okay, so we're back for putting the onions to cure, and I'm going to share with you the products that I use to grow these onions with. Now, there's a disclaimer. I don't know if I said it already, but I am not an organic gardener. I try being an organic gardener, and it's very expensive. So it's expensive to me, might not be expensive to you, but I try to reuse, and I try to use the things that are economical for me. And if I can use organic when it's available at a decent price, I will use organic products. But for the majority, I don't look for organic fertilizers. Okay, so to begin with, when I order my seedlings online, and my soil was made, I had compost that I picked up from the Arizona Worm Farm. If you don't have a place to pick up compost, you can always buy, and I did use this as well, is the raised garden bed mix from Kellogg's at the big box store. Okay, that has compost in it, and it has biochar, I think, and it has worm castings. It's excellent. I use that in the soil as well. But I did have compost left over when I went and picked up from my local supplier. So compost, the Kellogg's, and I think that one's organic, raised bed garden mix. And I'll put a picture here for you to see what I'm talking about. I added in also the Miracle Grow potting mix, and I added, I think that's it, because the raised garden bed mix has a lot of good stuff in it. Okay, so these are the fertilizers. Okay, so when the plant was little, I bombarded it with nitrogen. Well, let me back up. When I did the mix, I did the burrows of soil. In the bottom of the burrows, I put phosphorus, potassium, and a little bit of nitrogen. And this is the potassium that I used. Get this on Amazon. I'll leave the link in the description box below. And then I used bone meal, and it's organic. Okay, when I can, I get it. Bone meal, okay, for a good root development. You saw those roots, okay? And for nitrogen, I use the regular good old blood meal, but something I used this year that I did not use last year was ammonium sulfate. And this is a type of nitrogen that is used for onions that gives the onion that deep, strong onion flavor, okay? So it's going to make the leaves grow, the green leaves, the green stalks grow, but it's going to give it a really good deep flavor to the onions. I don't know, I'm not an expert, but they told me to use this for the onions, and I did. So it had really good results. Now these are all granular, and it takes a while for them to break down all of these fertilizers and to feed the plant. It takes like 2 weeks for it to break down and start feeding the plant. But you want to start feeding the onion immediately. So what I started to do it, like I said, I'm not an organic gardener, but so I use water soluble. Where is it? Water soluble food for the plant, and this will give you both nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium in the water form. Okay, and that feeds the plant immediately, as opposed to these, it takes a while for them to start feeding the plant. So in the meantime that the plant's being fed with this, these are being broken down, and then they'll start feeding the plant. But I would give this maybe once a week. And another thing that I did use was rainwater. I have no idea if that had anything to do with the plant growing successfully or not. I don't think so, but it kept the organisms in the soil alive. So I think that was good for that reason. You don't have to have rainwater. It's just what I do. I harvest rainwater for my plants, so that I can give my plants good water, rainwater. And like I said, I really try to grow as organically as possible. But some of these fertilizers are just so expensive. Like, I don't know what the Happy Frog or the Frog brand, it's so expensive. So I'm like, oh, but these, you can find them at a cheaper price at Walmart or Home Depot, Lowe's, and they're organic and they're a little bit cheaper. So this is what I use. And for the water soluble food, it's plant food. I think they do make a organic brand, but this one's organic is way more expensive to me. So onions are really, really heavy feeders. You constantly have to be feeding them. Okay, so I would feed this once a week, and then sometimes even twice a week. Also, never sleep on the water. Never lack water. Always have to be watering them every single day. I was on it constantly. And this winter we had a ton of rain, so whenever it would rain, obviously I would not water them. And if I went and checked on them the next day and the water was still pretty wet, I would just not water it. But on like warmer days, like I would go and look at the dirt, and if it's starting to dry up, I wouldn't let it dry up. I would water it. And towards the end of the life of the plant, I didn't water as much. Well, I did. I still watered every day, but you want to make sure you don't over water, because you can rot it, so the bulb. So I just made sure that the water was moist enough, but not soaked like in the beginning. In the beginning of the life of the plant, you want to increase your I use both actually, the blood meal as a nitrogen and the ammonium sulfate. This is given at the beginning of the life of the plant to grow the green stalks. Once you see that the bulb was starting to form, I decrease. I still gave it some of this, but on a very small dose, and I increase these. And these are going to help with growing that big bulb, okay? And just so you know, I apply the same principles and everything to the garlic as well, because they're in the same family, okay? So the garlic and the onion. And that's all I did. Because, a good soil mixture, always fertilizing, and always watering. Those are the 3 things. And pests, I really didn't have any issues with pests. The rabbits and the birds are my biggest nemesis here in my backyard, and they leave it alone just for the fact that it's onion, and to them it smells bad, so they don't want to eat it or nothing. So I didn't have problems with that. But yeah, these are the products that I use, and that was my onion harvest for this year, and I'm so excited because next year I'm going to grow a lot more. And I'm going to pay attention because the frost will kill your onions. Oh, I learned that the hard way. I would have a lot more onions, but I did lag on that. I didn't think it was going to kill the onions, and it did. But now I know. So this is it. You saw my harvest, and I'm excited to grow some next year, and I'm excited to pull the garlic. I don't know. I think I'm going to give it 2 more weeks, if even. I'm not patient at all, but I'm going to try to give it another 2 weeks, and I'll make a video so you guys can watch that. So thank you so much for watching this video. We'll see you next time. Bye.